Welcome back to another Miskatonic AV Club, a Mythos Busters production. I am Scott. Sean, are you still with me?
I'm here.
It's
Maybe.
pretty good. Have you grown a third arm yet? No,
Yes?
not that one.
I'm
We're
so
looking at the cards
confused.
from City of Archives where you turn into a Yithian, Sean. That arm,
Ah,
yeah.
that one.
Yeah.
Don't they have four? Because presumably they have one on their back, right? Or is it completely asymmetric?
I have no idea. I know they don't have 1918 of them.
Let me go check that deck I have built. Oh, wait. Ithians can't build deck.
Can they go to the bar?
Sure.
Oh, all right. Well, the M1918 BAR, or Browning Automatic Rifle, is a Guardian asset, level 4, 5 cost, 2 combat icons, item, weapon, and firearm, uses 8 ammo, action, spend 1 to 5 ammo, fight. You get plus X combat for this attack. Instead of its standard damage, this attack deals X damage. X is the amount of ammo spent as part of this ability's cost. And it takes up 2 hands because this is a large gun.
Here, guys, Nick's not here with us tonight, but let me go ahead and simulate the experience. Skeet, skeet.
Yeah, pretty much. Yep. Uh, so I think, well, first of all, this is obviously a high powered weapon.
Hmm.
And when you're looking in the Guardian class, I think this is kind of part of the. Well, I guess there's 4 now, but the bar, the shotgun, the lightning gun, and the flamethrower. We have 4 big weapons. Although the flamethrower is coming up much later in this. No, it's next pack or something. Anyways, regardless, uh, where do you see this fitting in the big guns for Guardians?
Honestly, I think this has become the new standard. And the reason why is because of its flexibility. The fact that it starts with 8 ammo, you can flex its action depending on how high you need to get on your test versus how much damage you need to do. You can pretty much just zero in on how much damage you need to do in a single action, and it makes it so efficient.
Mhm.
Um, it's got, I think, way more staying power and damage potential than the shotgun. And, with the shotgun, you can do some crazy things with double or nothing or what have you. You can
Mhm.
do that with the bar too, so I guess that's not really an argument.
Yeah.
Um, Lightning gun, I still like. I think it's still good. It costs more in every regard, and I think it probably doesn't last quite as long.
Mhm.
So
It's
I think the bar has just become the new standard for me. It's setting the bar, if you will.
I think I do like the bar as well. Like exactly a flexibility. Um, it sometimes hurts to do this, but you know what? Sometimes you come across an acolyte who needs 1 damage, and you happen to have the bar out. And if you had your shotgun out, you'd be like, "Oh, do I have to?" Or you'd find some other way to fight him. The bar, you're like, "Well, it kind of sucks, but it's just 1 ammo out of 8,
Mm-hmm.
and you can ping him off." I think I love the flexibility that the one of the downsides to it is I don't even know if it's a downside or it's an upside for shotgun, but extra ammo loses its potency
Mm.
with the bar. Like the extra 3 ammo is 1 attack for 3, where like if you put extra ammo on a shotgun, suddenly you have, a giant cannon that's going to murder things. Um, so there's that potency loss there. So anything that reloads, like Venturer, let's say,
Sure.
even I mean Contraband, who really plays it that much, but you can contraband the bar if you're Leo and get some ridiculous amounts of ammo. But again, yeah, I don't know. It's so it loses to those tricks, but the flexibility of it, I think, is what wins me um, over the shotgun.
Yeah.
And it's 1 less XP. No, lightning gun is 5. Shotgun's 4.
Shotgun's 5. Lightning gun's 5. Browning's. Wait, not Browning. No, this is the Browning. I can't
Yeah.
do things. This is 4, and the. Did we mention the Springfield?
No, and that's on purpose.
Okay. Just making sure. Well, it seems like you have to be pretty old to have, familiarity with that card. Perhaps one
Yes.
might call it knowledge of the elders. Okay, we're not going to keep stretching that. So,
Our minds really aren't in harmony with
oh
these puns.
shit, do I have them backward again?
No, 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 you
Oh,
don't.
okay. Oh,
Yeah,
I see.
I
You were
was
just
just.
you were just setting me up for the second one. All right, I'm with you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I fumbled that pass. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Um, okay, so first, Ancient Stone Knowledge of the Elders is a level 4 Seeker asset. It costs 2, has 2 intellect icons, it has item and relic traits. You can only include this asset in your deck by upgrading it from Ancient Stone Unidentified, and only if you have identified the stone in your campaign log. Uses X secrets. X is the number in parentheses next to you have identified the stone. So if everyone remembers what the original one does, I'll just outline that really quickly. The original one, you put it out, and as an action, you investigate at your location at +3 shroud, and if you succeed, you write down what the shroud was when you succeeded by identifying the stone. So that determines how big the test was, determines how many secrets this will have when you play it later on. And then, so its actual ability is on like an eighth of the card. When you draw, or sorry, reaction, when you draw any number of cards, spend that many secrets, deal that much damage to an enemy at your location. Of course, takes up a hand slot.
Hmm. I think this is the better of the two stones.
I would agree.
I like the damage output. The fact the enemy doesn't have to be engaged with you, it can be engaged with someone else. It can be aloof. It's just an enemy at your location. It turns this, in combined with cryptic research, into pretty much like a shotgun blast,
Mm-hmm.
with a testless shotgun blast, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, it's the better one. And you know what? Like sometimes that X value, sometimes like I think my highest that I've gotten is 8, and it was almost comical because like the two other players I was with, we piled in our intellect icons. I was testing it a 5 shroud, so it was 8, and we got to like 5 up, and just to make sure, and we got it. So, uh, but yeah, 8, like it's just so much.
It is. It'll be really interesting to see if we ever get anything that uses secrets like we have that have used ammo.
Mm,
If there's anything that you can use your secrets for on cards you have, just kind of in general as a mechanic, this gets really interesting because that gets so variable. You could really stack this thing up if you're so inclined.
right, like you're saying the way like warning shot uses ammo.
Right, like warning
Yeah,
shot or even like eat lead. Like you're using
right.
extra ammo or in this case extra secrets for some effect.
Imagine if we got something that was like spend a secret, draw a card, and it was fast.
Mm.
Oh man, that would be ridiculous with this. Might be too good. But anyways,
So look out for that in the future. This card's stock increase.
yeah.
Talking a quick second, since we kind of skipped over it a little bit when we did the box review.
Hmm.
How do you find identifying the stone to go? How do you think
Um,
the whole mechanic of the ancient stone is set up compared to like your glyphs or your solution?
Solution. Well, I feel like it feels like the same as solution because it's one test, one and done. The thing that Ancient Stone offers is a bit of a push your luck, kind of because you could be really safe and do it at a 0 shroud, so you're only doing 3 up,
Mm-hmm.
which is a really easy test to pass.
But you really
But
want to hit that high, don't you?
yeah, you really do. Um, so I really like it. I like that it's one test, one and done, and you choose the difficulty essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And the higher you push, the more you get.
Mm-hmm.
And you only have to take that test once. So if you wanted like you can dump a bunch of money into higher ed, right? If you're on like a 7 shroud or something, especially if it has what's the mists, the
Oh,
+2
obscuring
shroud to your
fog.
location, obscuring fog, right? And then yeah, it just you could get this to ludicrous values. You do it once, and then this card is better for the rest of the campaign.
Mm-hmm. You know what stops me from ancient stone a lot of the times?
Hmm.
The fact that you have to spend XP on the shitty version.
Yeah, that's a
That's
thing.
more of a barrier. Like I read the cards and I'm like, damn, that's a barrier. But it's even more of a barrier than I thought. Like so often I'll be crunched for XP at the end of a scenario and just be like, all right, what am I upgrading? And like I'll look at the ancient stone, be like,
Mhm,
okay, I'm gonna spend XP now. That does nothing for me. It's exactly the opposite of what I want out of XP. So it's
mhm.
it's it's a little bit of a mental battle that you have to get through to, at least for me, to justify to yourself that this is gonna do something later on.
Yeah. One way I like to look at it to kind of lessen that blow is strange solutions. They're also 4 XP, like once you solve them,
Mm-hmm.
but it's 4 XP in one chunk. At least with the stones, you can like put a down payment on them,
That's true.
right? Like you're still paying 4, but you can pay it in 1 and then 3. It doesn't have to
Mm-hmm.
be 4 at one time.
Yep. That is true, and
Um,
I do often forget that, despite the fact that I've been reminded of it several times. That does help.
uh,
You just kind
looking
of
at the other
prepay.
one, yeah, exactly. Looking at the other one, Minds in Harmony, all the same text, but its ability is when you draw any number of cards, spend that many secrets, heal that much horror from a card at your location. Um, the cool thing is, it's heal that much horror from a card. So, investigator, that's someone else's investigator. That's what's the card that just came out in this pack? Something worth fighting for.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's just a horror soak. You can heal a horror off allies. Uh, yeah, a key of ease.
Ooh,
Anything, right? So
love it when you
that's
talk dirty to me.
it's a pretty cool ability. It's just this is a really expensive way to get horror healing.
Yeah, it's
I
a lot of rig to roll.
I feel like I like the other one a lot more, the damage one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
Um,
generally agree. This one may find its spot because what's cool is it is generally passive. Like you're gonna draw cards in upkeep. And you can just pop a secret then to heal a horror. So like you put this out with 5 secrets on it, it's just gonna do things when it needs to do
mhm,
them, which is cool.
yeah.
Tell them about the Carolyn trick.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say I love so Ancient Stone Minds in Harmony actually pretty decent in Carolyn because if you get a high shroud, that's like basically you pay 2. Now you have this thing that deals out 8 resources. Like over time. It's great. Anyways, so shrewd analysis, which basically says when you upgrade something that's unidentified or untranslated or whatnot, you can get 2 of the cards for the cost of 1, but it's random from from all the possibilities of the card, and you still have to hold into the or stay within deck building construction or rules. The thing about Ancient Stone is in Carolyn, you can get the level 1 version. Once you translate it, if you have Shrewd Analysis, when you go to randomly upgrade it, this is the only option because you can't actually take the Knowledge of the Elders, the damage dealing Ancient Stone. So you randomly choose from Minds in Harmony or Minds in Harmony, and then you get the second cost of, or the second Minds in Harmony for free. So
Pretty sweet.
niche little case for Shrewd Analysis. Probably one of the only times I'll use Shrewd Analysis. The glyphs are okay, but I usually want to pick one.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're going Ancient Stone and Carolyn,
I think for
just
most of them, if you're bothering to identify something, you have the end result in mind.
yeah, especially with Solution.
Yeah,
Like Solution is there is acidic ichor, and then 2 notches down everything else, like
there
on a
is
slant.
there is only one strange solution, and then the
Yeah.
other three are strange suggestions.
Mm-hmm.
But that really slipped
Ancient
away from us,
Stone
didn't it?
sure did. Slip Away is a rogue event, level 0, 2 cost. It has an intellect and an agility icon. It is trick traded, so Rita can take it. Evade. Add your intellect to your skill value for this evasion attempt. If you succeed by 2 or more, and the evaded enemy is not elite, it does not ready during the next upkeep phase. This is actually really good for Rita. Because she is going to be evading at a 7 with just this card.
Which,
That's pretty strong.
probably going to succeed by 2 most of
Mhm.
the time.
Having something exhaust and not ready during your next upkeep, that can be pretty powerful. Like a Night Gaunt or something that's bugging you.
Yeah,
especially a hunter enemy.
particularly in solo or lower player counts where you can kind of
Hmm.
then just get away from it, and this is almost as good as defeating it. In
Yeah.
corner cases, even better.
Solo skids. Yeah, solo skids, decent.
Mm-hmm.
Solo Finn. I think this is amazing. Solo Wendy. Yeah.
Solo
There's a
Jenny.
lot. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
maybe Jenny likes to
Maybe.
just blow things away too. So
Yeah. She can go either way as far as combat or evade, like how she's going to deal with enemies. I think this is just a generally a pretty good card, especially solo. I think you get a lot more value out of it solo. Not to say that it's not good in multiplayer, because the ability to evade something for 2 turns and then allow everyone to kind of like, okay, guys, pass by while this thing's exhausted, that can be quite powerful as well.
I agree. It's just I think a lot of these I think this ends up being better than Cheap Shot, which is kind of the complementing fight card where you add your agility to your fight.
Hmm.
Um, I just think in general this is gonna get more use, particularly in Forgotten Age, where there are so many enemies where fighting with them traditionally or even dealing damage to them is just a no-no.
Hmm.
Yeah, really like this card. It's like a little mini bind monster is kind of what it
Yeah,
is.
it's a bind monster that only lasts for a little bit. Um, it just it promotes smart play.
Mhm.
Like if you use this at the right time, you can get a lot of value out of this. Like 5 more actions worth of value,
I
essentially.
I agree.
Like yeah, yeah. I think rogues really hit a payday with this card.
They sure did. And the next one, it turns out, Payday
Hmm.
is a level 1 rogue event. It is 0 cost. It has illicit and faded trait. So gain 1 resource for each action you performed this turn, including this one. If it is your turn, end your turn. So
So
in a normal deck that's not playing around with anything else, as long as you play this on your last action, this is a key.
yes, which having 4 mercy caches or mercy quiches in your deck isn't bad if you're playing like a big money rogue.
And if you're doing anything with extra actions, this gets better.
Hmm.
I think I've seen this in obviously with Leo, Ace in the Hole, anything that gives you extra actions. I've also seen, actually, I've not seen it in action, but the theory of it is juicy if you're using borrowed time.
Yes.
The idea that you can just stack 2 turns worth of actions on borrowed time, have a bomb turn, and still get paid at the end of it.
Yeah. Do 5 actions, collect 6 resources at the end.
You know,
Yeah. If you have fence out, this is illicit, and fence can make it fast, so you can actually do 6 actions of stuff and then still play this. Yeah,
that
yeah.
said,
It's.
how often does it find its way into decks for you?
Uh, I
I think it's a
mean,
pretty specific build myself.
yeah. I think you're gonna be like, "What, Scott? You're crazy." I think it actually fits in a really weird, maybe not so weird, but a hoarding money Preston build, because it's just there are turns I find with my hoarding money Preston build where I only have 1 or 2 effective actions, and this is just another little boost where I'm turning cards into
You
money, and that money turns into better turns later on.
I think you are crazy because if you do this on your turn, it's a card effect, so it's going to go on as inheritance, and then at the end of the turn, it goes away.
I played this wrong in Preston.
Well, we got there together.
Yep. Yeah. In that case, it's shit. No, it's I don't know. As much as I like the idea of 4 emergency caches, it's also a limited 1 XP emergency cache. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think ultimately my final thought on this one is that you have to. It's good in a build that's built around it.
Yeah.
Everywhere else, you probably are better off skipping it. It doesn't have any icons. Like, this could be sitting in your hand
Yeah.
for a while for the right time to play it.
Yeah. It's a jank card.
It
A
is.
jank card that involves in it that is in a jank build. And I'm not nothing against jank,
No,
but
just that jank begets jank.
yeah. Well, I mean, if you are making a deck like that, you are going to have to make some sacrifices.
A small sacrifice.
That card is a Mystic event card. It is a level 1 0 cost with a willpower icon and ritual traded. It says discard a Mystic asset you control, then draw 3 cards or gain 3 resources or any combination thereof.
Mm-hmm.
This is a much better Payday. uh,
I think the decks
speak-
that would like to use it is probably a little bit broader, at the least.
mhm. The fact that you can draw cards from it too, like this is, being able to chuck a spell or get rid of a, oh god, what's his name? The guy who
Renfield?
makes all the money, Renfield. Uh, yeah, I like this. I like this.
I don't think it goes in every deck that's Mystic, because specifically you
Right.
have to be targeting Mystic assets that you don't want anymore.
Hmm.
Because quite often what'll happen in like a spell heavy Mystic, where you're actually leveraging your willpower a lot, your Agnes or your Akachi,
Hmm.
you'll have a couple rough turns, you'll drain a Shriveling or a Rite of Seeking, but still kind of need it.
Hmm.
But you've either drawn it and are tapped on resources, or you're okay on resources, but you really need to dig, try to find the second spell, and this solves both problems, both or either.
Yeah. I. It's one of those cards. I think it's a good economy card,
Mm-hmm.
and it's nothing flashy. It just gets you where you need to go a little bit faster,
Yeah.
and I tend to like those cards.
In any Mystic or in any deck that's running Mystic assets with charges, this is, I think, one of your first upgrades. It's that good.
Hmm. Uh, One comment I saw in our Discord about this, it was specifically about the art, and someone was like, "Oh my god, she's gonna kill that goat," and someone pointed out, "Oh, she's using a kukri. That goat's gonna be fine."
Sorry.
Uh, yeah. I also have to correct myself, Sean. This is super embarrassing. Um, Payday is illicit, so I put that in a Preston deck, which I cannot do, and played it wrong.
You podcast about this game, man.
Yeah, well, we all make mistakes.
We sure do. Like
Some
running
of them
Payday.
are just yeah. Ooh. The thing is, every gamer is going to make mistakes. We just talk about them so everyone else can hear about
Yes.
them. Yeah,
Yes. We'll always cop to it.
yeah. I am okay admitting that I am not perfect. I just find it hilarious that I was that bad of a player. Oh
So
well.
you're saying that for the sake of the group, you're willing to take that hit on your pride and own it. What if perhaps there was a card that did the opposite, where one player takes the benefit and everyone else supposedly suffers?
Man, that sounds like a Nick card.
Allegedly. Allegedly. All right, well, we'll get there. Um, so Crystalline or Crystalline, Elder Sign, if you prefer it to rhyme, is a level 3 Mystic asset. It costs 3, has a wild icon. It has item, relic, and blessed traits. Deal +1 or Elder Sign. You get +1 will, +1 intellect, +1 combat, and +1 agility. Takes up an exception.
This this card is good, even though other people think it's greedy to seal the +1. If you're sealing the Elder Sign, you're playing this card wrong.
I
I
agree.
don't think you ever seal the Elder Sign for this. Uh, they're just too valuable when they show up. But a +1 is fine. I mean, especially solo. If you're playing solo, this is sealing the +1, so you essentially draw the +1 in addition to your other token all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think people get really hung up about, oh, that's one less good token in the bag. And that's
Hmm.
true. It does modify probability a little bit in that direction, but increasing all of your skills by one improves it by more in the other direction.
Yes, it makes all those minus fives. They're now minus four. All the minus fours are minus three, etc., etc.
It
It's
it's
it's really
really
good.
good.
Yeah.
And anyone who's going to complain about someone playing this in multiplayer, like, I don't know. I guess it is kind of a selfish move, but I don't really think I'd categorize it as a dick move. As long as you're not like camping somewhere and not doing anything with the
Hmm.
+1 that you've sealed. If you're out there contributing, like, this does a lot for your probability to succeed on tests. So I don't know. I think great in solo, still worth it up to 4 players. I'll put that out
Yeah.
there.
Again, as long as you're stealing the +1, like whenever I'm playing multiplayer or any game, I'm not counting on the +1. Like that token doesn't exist to me, and essentially neither does my Elder Sign, right? Like I am planning to draw
Right.
-2 or -3 or something, right? If I draw the +1, great, but I'm always for any test that matters, I'm going to be up by a bit. Unless you get to those dire straight tests where it's like, I need to pass this to win because I only have 2 actions to finish the scenario and I'm even. It's like, well, you didn't lose because someone had the Crystalline Elder Sign out. You lost because you got yourself so far into that situation that you're now in a situation where you are even on a test and or you're one below and you need the +1.
Mm-hmm.
So
Pilot error.
yeah, well, I mean, just the game can just shit on you,
That's
and
true.
it's just
And it's
yeah.
easy to really want a scapegoat. And it's really easy to
Mhm.
look across the board at your purple player who's running Crystalline Elder Sign and be like, hey, you screwed me.
Yeah.
But I would argue you
Uh,
should not do that.
Solo, Dark Horse Lola loves this card.
Fives across the board. Yeah, that seems pretty okay.
It's pretty decent. Yeah, yeah. Once you get up to that, I mean, yeah, it's pretty good.
Solo, Lola, Dark Horse, Crystalline Elder Sign, Relic Hunter, Kievi's
Sure.
Lola.
Oh yeah, Kievis. I was gonna say St. Hubert's Key, but then upgrading to Kievis. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
And you said Pete Sylvester. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Oh,
Pete
with
Sylvester.
Bandolier and a bunch of weapons. Bandolier level 2. Yeah, that'd be okay.
Yeah.
You'd have to get there, but
Hmm.
um, yeah, Lola doesn't do too well on her own though.
She sure doesn't. Needs a little help from her friends.
Yeah, so she should probably not play on your own. It is a survivor asset. It is level 3, 2 cost, and it has a willpower icon. It's talent traded, limit 1 per investigator. Discard on your own if you control an asset that takes up an ally slot. Key on the ally slot. Reaction: when you play a survivor event, exhaust on your own. Reduce that event's cost by 2.
Important to note here that is, before any of you ask, not Calvin in the art, and confirm. I've done the
Oh, it's not
research.
good. Thank you. Key thing about the ally slot: they actually have to take up an ally slot. So Ashcan and Duke are safe to take this card.
Oh, he's such a good boy. Duke is such a good boy.
He is such a good boy. Uh, don't play this in the Dunwich cycle, I guess, because this thing will get kicked out so often.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this is a weird card,
Yes.
and it takes a very weird build,
Yes.
and it's very janky and fun, but weird. And I
So
think Ashcan is the one to do it. And I think you play Desperate.
probably. Yeah. But okay, so
That's
here's my big thing with it.
okay.
I have found the desperate Duke build to just
Mm-hmm.
never need money because all of its like half of its cards are skills and the cards that cost things don't cost much.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I find that be the case with a lot of survivors that I build. So, like, what events are you packing in your deck that you're hoping to reduce the cost of? I mean, look what I found, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the occasional
Lu-
lucky.
Lucky. If you're like, I think this is a desperate dark horse Duke. And this allows you to drop all your resources and still be safe
Mm-hmm.
for a lucky or whatever.
Sure.
like I said, it's a weird one. A desperate Dark Horse Duke that can use this to cheapen down a Will to Survive, and you
Okay.
get that super weird. There's Will to Survive, True Survivor, and Resourceful, and you can just cycle them and keep on doing turns with Will to Survive over and over and over again.
Hmm.
This kind of makes that a bit cheaper because you kind of have to get to a certain threshold of resources to have like 4 or 5 Will to Survive turns in a row.
Mm-hmm.
This makes it easier to get there. Uh, yeah, it's. I think this goes in a standalone deck more so than a campaign deck
Sure.
because
It's the kind of thing
the
you build around.
well, yeah, and the campaign deck that you would build aiming to get on your own, I think is a very, I won't say bad, but it's not a great level 0 deck.
Right. It's
And that's
weird
the
without the
issue.
card you're building around.
Yeah. So
And it's not
that's
like
that's
it's not like it's a little 1 XP card. Like, this ain't nothing.
yeah,
That's the highest any survivor card costs.
yes. And you want 2 of them, even if it's limit 1 per investigator, because you want to draw it.
Because again, you're building around it.
Yeah.
I'll be interested
Yeah.
to see if we end up getting more. I don't know. I just think what always stops me is because I've looked at this a few times in building standalone. What
Hmm.
stops me is then I look at my event spread, and I'm like, I can just afford these. I don't need to muck around with this.
Hmm.
So I think we need to kind of get to a point where I do think Dark Horse is a good call, where you can basically still play events being on 0 resources. That's good.
Hmm.
But more kind of impactful events that do things will increase the value of them.
Yeah.
I still think it's probably under the curve.
I think it is too. I honestly, it's a standalone deck card for a very specific build that is super fun to play, and I think it fits better in that Will to Survive recursion deck,
Sure, I can see
which
that.
is a stupidly fun deck to play when it happens.
Mm-hmm.
It's not too hard to get it to happen. It just when it happens, you're like, I'm invincible.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
I might try an on your own Silas. See if I can get that going.
that might not be too bad.
Hmm. I must
And
explore this.
he could use it would make True Survivor really good in him.
That's true.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So
All right. Well, that's something. Well,
this is a really, really, really weird payday.
this is a really this is just a
Spread out
really
over
weird
turns.
pack. Like, there's no theme. Like, you look at on your own, sacrifice, and payday, and you're like, oh well, did Seeker and Guardian get their asset or their economy card? Nope.
Yeah.
Just I don't know. It's a good pack. Let's see
Yeah.
here. Cards that are in here that see regular play for me: the bar, slip away, sacrifice, elder sign. That's half the pack.
Yeah. I mean, it's a weird pack, both player cards and scenario.
Yes,
Yeah.
more so on the scenario side though.
Very true. Yeah. What's your number one?
I like sacrifice, but I think Crystalline elder sign is generally better. Well, okay. The bar is probably the best card in the pack. Probably.
Hmm.
Again, lots of these cards have different effects, so it's hard to stack them straight up against
Yeah.
each other. But my favorite is Crystalline.
I think I have to agree with you just because it makes like the bar makes killing enemies better. Slip away makes evading better. Crystalline Elder Sign just makes everything a little bit better. Just everything.
Hurting.
Just right. Just spreads that butter all over that toast right in the corners and
Oh
yeah.
man, I have a campaign going right now. I'm actually about to wrap the scenario after we log off here. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get 6 XP. The solo
Mm-hmm.
Diana deck. This is my first buy.
Oh man, having
Yeah.
her at 7,444.
Still my heart.
Mm. Well, thank you everyone for listening. Thanks for joining us for another Miskatonic AV Club. Sean, thanks for joining me. It's
Thanks
been
for
nice.
having me. My seat is still comfortable. I glad no one messed around with the settings.
I think Casey farted on it a couple times, but I mean,
Yeah, well,
Whatever.
yeah, that's just gonna.
Yeah. All right. Join us next time, which will be who knows what time. We'll be looking at the Depths of Yoss player cards. Have a good night, guys.
Bye.